Hello, I hope you're doing really well today and that you've had a wonderful week. Not much has happened here in the past week. It's been really cold, but if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that last Sunday, which was Mothering Sunday here in the UK, my family and I cleared what we call the south border, which is literally just a south facing border, of all the grasses and weeds and everything that was kind of left from last year. Then after it was all cleared, I mulched it with a good 2 inches of compost to prepare for this year's growing season. So this year I hope to grow all of my annuals, or the majority of them at least, in that one south border and create an absolute riot of colour and a pollinator's paradise. I want to do something that's just a full-on mishmash of colour. I don't want it to be any set sort of colour theme or style, but just a haven really, so that when you sort of walk past the beach hedge and turn around the corner, it's like a surprise of blooms really, and something that will continue from May, which is when our last frosts are, all the way up to the first frost. So I want to include everything in there, from cosmos, snapdragons, maybe some dahlias, what else do I have growing at the moment, some orlea and sunflowers, lots and lots and lots of sunflowers. So yeah, that's the plan for the south border. But today what I want to do is just have a little bit of fun and create a few arrangements, a couple for the house and one for outside as well, using the foliage from the garden and some lovely alpines that I picked up from the garden centre yesterday. So first off, let me show you the containers that I'm going to use for this project. This wicker basket, I can't remember where I got this. I have a larger one as well that I bought from Sarah Raven, but I think this was just maybe from the garden centre, I'm not 100% sure, but it came pre-lined with this plastic, so that makes it watertight. So that's my first one for indoors. And then the second is this beautiful ceramic jug with the detailing. I collect jugs and I love to have flower arrangements in them. It's just so informal and fun for the kitchen, nothing too considered, if you like. So that's my 2 containers for indoors. And for outdoors, I have this. This isn't really my usual style and it's really heavy. Hang on. Okay, so it's a wide, shallow pot with drainage holes. I'm just going to put that down. So the black container came from a site that my husband was working on, where he reclaims old materials and things that are no longer used to save them from going to landfill. Usually it's in bulk quantities of brick or glass or wood, but every once in a while it's things like butler's sinks and pots, things like that. So sometimes he brings home the most odd things, but I thought this one is super and I can use it. So yeah, it might not be my style, but it's a pot, so I'm going to create something with it. So yeah, that's the containers, and now onto the plants. Okay, so here are the plants for the outdoor arrangement. I have violas. I think this variety is called Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow. It's a beautiful bi-colour, sort of blue, purple and cream viola, very delicate. And then I picked up a few alpines. This one is Armada White. Isn't that gorgeous? And I made sure to pick up one that's still got lots of buds waiting to bloom. And then I picked up 2 saxifrage because I just absolutely love them. They're so delicate. I mean, that would just be so nice on its own in a little terracotta pot. And that one's called Alpino Early Lime. And I have 2 of those. And then I have a gold crest cypress and some muscari. This one is called Esther, and I'll plant that out in the garden once it's done in the arrangement. And last but not least is an anemone called White Splendor. I like that one because it was quite droopy and whimsical looking. I thought that would be quite fun. So the first thing I'm going to do is fill up my pot. I'm going to use compost and quite a bit of horticultural grit, just to make sure there is good drainage. Most of these are alpine plants and they are generally found in rockeries or gravel borders, and they would really benefit from a good gravelly mix. So when I'm planting a pot, I generally start with what I call the anchor pieces, the ones that sort of ground the arrangement. So I'm going to start off with this cypress, very, very cute. And I'm thinking I was either going to put it at the side or in the middle. If I put it in the middle, it becomes a 360 arrangement where you can just see something pretty from any side as you're walking past, which I think would work the best for where I'm going to put it. Right, I'm not quite sure how it happened, but 3 arrangements became 5. I think I was having far too much fun, but that means I have 2 for outside and 3 for indoors, so let me show you how they turned out. So this is the first one. It's turned into a very whimsical alpine fairy garden and I absolutely love it. So I used both of the saxifrage, I cannot remember what that's called, but I did give you the name earlier on. I'm just going to call them drumsticks, and the muscari and violas. So the violas I used all 6, and I think they just pull the entire arrangement together. So this, I will water it in once in position because it's very, very heavy, and I have a saucer to match the pot. So I'll keep that outside on the bistro table and I'll be able to see it from my kitchen window. And then I had the anemone left, so I just potted that up into just a terracotta pot, and I'll likely just place that in the plant theatre. And then I went picking from the garden, and this is what I came back with. A few different types of daffodils. I have bridal crown here, one of my absolute favorites, beautiful. And then I snipped 2 branches from my forsythia plant. I didn't want to take too much because my forsythia shrubs, they're quite new, so I took 2 smaller stems just to add some bulk to this arrangement, and a few stems of hellebores, which I just kind of tucked in and around. I love how that's turned out, so that will likely go in the kitchen. And then while I was nipping about, I snipped a few stems of tete-a-tete daffodils just to go in a bud vase, and I'll likely just pop that on the mantelpiece. And for the last arrangement, that's the Chinodoxa Pink Giant, just potted up with some moss. I separated some of the pots into individual bulbs and planted them separately, and then some I just planted in clumps. I just wanted it to be quite rustic really, and yeah, it's definitely that. And by keeping it in the boot room where it remains a little bit cooler than the rest of the house, I'm hoping they'll put on some more vertical growth before they start to bloom. But as you can see, some of the blooms are already out, which is also fine. So a lovely way to spend a Sunday afternoon, and a lovely way to bring spring indoors while it's still quite cold outside. Hopefully this has given you some inspiration to create some spring arrangements for your home and garden. All that's left for me to do now is to place these in their final position and give those that need it a good drink. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, bye.